Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Tamara Temu Collective, where dreams have no filter. You already know what it is. We're finishing up our discussion about strategy. So in this video, I want to continue to talk about the downside of constantly searching for a strategy to accomplish whatever it is or to get to the next level of your life. Okay, so let me start off with a story. I have a degree in business. The emphasis was on entrepreneurship and marketing, and all throughout university and then all throughout working in corporate settings, when you hear about business, it seemed as if the first thing that people would talk about is, you have to, if you're going to create a product or a service, you have to touch on people's pain points. Now, I can remember the first time hearing that in college, and it never sat right with me. It didn't feel good. It didn't, I would always think, why would I reinforce someone's pain point? If I am creating a product or a service and I'm offering it to people, I want it to be in a way, or create something in a way that gets people to focus on the joys in their life, to focus on the things in their life that bring them happiness, to focus just on happiness in general, not pain, not what doesn't feel good. So I always felt that rule in business, or that messaging in marketing, it didn't fit me. So I should say, but even though I felt that way and I frowned at that pain point tactic, I still attempted to implement that when I first started my business, my apparel line. And once again, I would take, I would work with different coaches online. I even took a few online courses that helped apparel entrepreneurs who were getting a line off the ground. And it was always the same message. Well, you want to make sure that your clothes are hitting on the pain points in people's lives. I'm thinking, okay, here we go again with this. Here we go again. Well, that was the complete opposite of the message that I was putting into my own apparel line. My apparel line was targeting women who were beyond their pain, who were embracing their futures, who were embracing glamour, who were embracing sex appeal, who were embracing freedom, who were embracing their iconic identities. I wasn't focusing on pain points anywhere, because my idea was, I want to speak to a person's genius. I want to speak to the warrior. I want to speak to the part of ourselves that are prosperous, that are wealthy. And so while I was trying to do that, I was still getting, well, no, you gotta, what's the pain point? What's the pain point? And so, I tried that. I tried, to adopt. And then I realized as I was adopting that idea, that I didn't like, my aesthetic of my clothes started to change, and it started to me, it started to look boring and dry and plain. But because I was thinking, okay, well, this is the strategy that the experts are telling me to use, I got to keep going. So I kept going, no result. I kept going, no result. Kept going, kept going, kept going, until finally I thought, you know what? There has to be a way that I can do this and build this company in a way that feels good to me. So even before I came to that conclusion, what was starting to happen is that the strategies were becoming like a security blanket. I was starting to compare myself to other apparel entrepreneurs in the same space. I also was starting to force something that was not a fit. It wasn't a fit for me, wasn't even fit for my clothes, wasn't a fit for my business. It just wasn't a fit, but I was trying to force. So in this video, using that story, I want to talk about how strategy can become a security blanket, how strategy will cause you to compare yourself to other people, which is like kryptonite comparison. I'm telling you, it's kryptonite to the next level for you. And also how strategy brings about unnecessary force. So let's talk about the security blanket idea. What happens is when you're following some strategy, 3-step, 5-step, 700 steps, it doesn't matter. What that does, first it causes you to have tunnel vision, where that strategy is the only thing that you're focusing on. You're not looking outside, you're not looking for other ways, because, no, wait a minute, the strategy is telling me that I have to do it this way. So you try to do it this way and you don't get the results. But instead of listening to your intuition, instead of being creative and asking questions such as, well, how can I do this in a way? How can I create another way? Strategy as the security blanket will say, well, no. I'm going to stay in this box that I don't fit in, because then what happens after you follow strategy after strategy after strategy, even if it's not working, you can tend to get, this is going to sound very odd, but there is some comfort in that, because now you've gotten used to searching for a strategy and following a strategy. Because a strategy may seem to be more concrete than you stepping outside of that strategy box and saying, no, you know what, I'm gonna go over here in this field where nothing is concrete, and I am going to start asking questions. How can I create my own strategy and build this and get to the next level in a way that feels more at ease, that doesn't feel forced, that doesn't look like everyone else's? And that's another thing I want to point out too. I forgot about this. all that time that I was following those strategies, it's the weirdest thing. I started to see when I was marketing from the angle or taking on that strategy of tap into people's pain points, I noticed that my marketing was looking very similar to other people's in that apparel space. And I thought, okay, this is crazy. I can't do this anymore. This is not it. So you'll start to see other messaging that looks exactly like yours when it's not supposed to be that way. It isn't. Because whatever, and I know I'm talking about business, but this can be applied to anything. Our uniqueness when we have a vision, okay? And part of that vision is the next level of our existence. There's so much uniqueness in that naturally you're going to bring in your essence to that next level. You're going to bring in your essence into that business. If you're writing a book, part of, yes, you like, say for example, you're writing a fiction book, okay? Those characters, in a sense, they have your essence because it's coming from you. So even if it is a horror book, yes, there's thousands of millions probably of horror books out there. But because you're putting your essence in it, it's not going to look the same. It's not going to sound the same. It's not going to flow the same. But that is not what was happening with my apparel line, because I was holding so strong to the idea of this strategy that I had to follow, and marketing and focusing on pain. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's it. Strategy can keep you, can essentially become a security blanket from getting you out of that box that, again, you're not fitting in anyway, instead of asking questions, creative questions, asking big questions. How can I do this differently? How? Not can I do this differently, but how? Okay, that's number one. Number two, comparison. I alluded to this earlier. Comparison. When you're following a strategy, you don't get the result. Then you start looking around and you see, oh, well, that person over there followed the strategy and they got their 6-figure month in less than 30 days. They got, their launch was successful, whatever that looks like to you. I did the exact same thing. I didn't get any of that. You start to do that. Then you do that with one person, then one person, then you start looking at another person and another and another and another. Now what you've done is you have shadow banned your own damn self. You have watered down your own vision. You have chipped away at your confidence. You've completely tipped that confidence tower all the way over. All right. Then, so that can be applied to business. It can be applied to, let's take this for example. Now, all of us, probably if you're watching this, most of us were given a career strategy. And what is that career strategy? You get straight A's in school. You get 7 stars by your name at the end of the week. Then you do well on those exams, the what is it, the ACT, SAT exams. Then if you do well enough on those, then you go to college. Then you get a good job, and we can stop there. That's a strategy that's been floating around, that is very archaic. I wish we could just do away with it. But anyway, we're given that strategy. Well, many of us followed it. Many of us got different results. Many of us followed those of us that didn't get the results that we thought we were going to get. Then what do? We start looking around at the other people who followed that strategy, and they seem to be doing well. Well, I followed the same strategy. I didn't get those results. So that's one example, right? Then instead of for those of us that didn't get the results that we expected, so instead of us saying, well, how can I create a career for myself? How can I do this differently? Then what happens is, those of us that didn't get the results, then what do? We tell ourselves, oh, well, I need to go back to school. I need to go get another degree, and so maybe it'll be better when I get the second degree. Maybe that's what I need. So again, still being in that, still thinking that we have to adopt that strategy and stay with that idea, following those steps to a career. We go back to school. Still not getting the results. Still not getting the result that we think or we thought that we were going to get. So then what happens? Then that's when the comparison really starts to set in, because then we say, well, so now I'm at this age, I should have this, and this. I did all the right things. And so then at that point, then we start to ask the questions. Okay, how can I do this different? How can I do this differently? So if you're younger and you're watching this, if you're in your 20s and you're watching this, if you're in your 30s and you're watching this, what I want you to know is you don't have to wait until you get to that point where you've done all of these things, you've followed all the strategies, and now you're finally coming to yourself thinking, I can do this differently. You've always been able to do it differently. You can do it different now. So I don't know if whoever is watching this, I feel like I want to say, you have a goal, and you have people around you that are telling you that you need to do it a certain way or that you need to do it this way. I invite you to get by yourself, remove all screens, put pen to paper, and just simply write out the question. how can I do this differently? Not can I, but how. Then put, show me how to do this differently. Who are you asking? This is when spirituality comes into place, because you are asking your higher self. You are asking the universe that does support you. You are asking your guiding system, your guides. You're asking your support, your unseen support, to guide you through that. And if you sit there long enough, you'll get an answer. And here's the thing, the answer may not come to you in that sitting. The answer may come to you in a synchronicity. The answer may come to you 2 hours from that point. The answer may come to you the following day. But what I can guarantee you is that you're going to get an answer. But you have to be still enough to wait for the download. So I didn't plan on going that direction in this video, but I'm going to end this video there. And we'll pick up on, so we talked about comparison, and we talked about the security blanket that the strategy can become. You don't want that either. So anyway, thank you for watching, and until next time, cheers.